Hi guys, welcome to another video. So I just got out of class, and whenever I have a situation where I see a lot of people, I tend to have social anxiety epiphanies. Either I have a bad experience or I have a good one. So this is kind of a good one because I kind of recognized some things, and I thought I would share that with you. So first of all, I noticed that really people aren't as judgmental as you might think that they are. So I don't know, I just felt really relaxed because I was like, you know what, these people aren't really judging me, you know? I think that's a really weird delusion that we think that people are like there's a spotlight on us, you know, and everyone is nitpicking little things about us, which I don't know, is not, if you don't do that to other people, which you might, but just stop doing that to other people, accept people. I think I said this in my last thing, but it's easy to forget this and you think that people are staring at you and judging you, but even if they do look at you, they're not judging you. And a lot of times I just kind of blend into the background because I don't want to be noticed or anything. So yeah, when I'm in that sort of situation, I just feel like no one's really judging me. So yeah, I don't know, everyone has imperfections, so it's not just you. Okay, and another thing is that if people have said negative things about you in the past, then challenge those. Don't believe them. And when my therapist from 2 therapists ago, she would always say challenge your beliefs or whatever, and when they use you know, psychobabble stuff, it doesn't really, you don't really register it, you know. They should just be they should just give it to you straight, don't believe what people have told you, you know. So not challenge your beliefs or whatever, just don't believe what people have told you. So if someone has said something mean to you in the past, that's probably a belief that's not true at all in the least. So, and even if there's a grain of truth in it, that's probably their specific problem, you know, that they noticed about you, that they had a problem with, and no one else thinks that, you know. And you know, you thinking that about yourself is going to make it more likely that other people will believe it. So yeah, just don't believe it. Anything negative about yourself, just that's not true. And every day is a new day, and you have the opportunity to be a new person every single day. So if you've thought these things about yourself, just be you know what, none of that is true. Anything that I have made up about myself that's negative, anything that someone's told me, teasing me, or not even have told me, anything that I imagined that they thought about me that was negative, not true. Just, you know, none of that is true. Oh yeah, and I also noticed that if the professor, because we had a guest speaker today, and she was really laid back, and she was always I'm a terrible teacher, even though she wasn't. She wasn't actually a teacher or anything. So if it's the kind of professor that's really demanding of class participation or whatever, that's gonna make you, that makes me really uncomfortable. So I just spend the whole class on edge, and that is not good if you have social anxiety. So I really think that honestly, teachers should really lay off making everyone in the class participate, because you don't know if someone has really big public speaking issues or whatever. So you know, the teacher shouldn't automatically think that if you don't speak in class, it means you're not prepared or you didn't do the readings or something, because I always do the readings, but that doesn't mean that I feel comfortable saying things in front of the class, especially when I'm an introvert also, so it takes me a while to think up things to say. And extroverts will be like, oh, so you can't think on your feet. Well, it's not like that. If you're introverted, you think long and hard about like everything someone says. So when the professor says something that I think is important, I will sit there and be like, okay, and I'll really think about it. I'm not going to hear it and be like, blah, 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 things that I didn't even consider like fully enough to feel like I can talk at length about. And my parents even told me, like, when I was a kid, I wouldn't say a word until I was absolutely sure I knew how to say it. Like, I wasn't the kind of kid that would just be like, goo goo gaga, blah, 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 blah. Like, I wouldn't say a word until I was sure that I knew how to say it. But I actually started speaking very early on because I paid attention, like really close attention. So by the age of 1, I was like speaking very well and saying things like pumpkin and two and like making sentences. So actually, you know, I can speak, but it's not like, you know, if I have a script, I'm great. But if it's like just go, like, you know, think of something right now to say, it's like, no, I am the kind of person where I like to think about things like really deeply and be sure that what I say is like truly meaningful, you know? I'm not the kind of person that's just gonna blurt out whatever bullshit that pops in my head, you know? So yeah, if it's the kind of professor that is like very demanding and expecting of you to talk in class when you're not that kind of person, it's gonna put you on edge like the whole time. But we had a guest speaker, and you know, eventually it became obvious that she wasn't expecting us to basically teach the class for her. So yeah, it was really easy to just sit there and relax and be like, okay, like I can relax. And it's not like I'm lazy or I'm dumb or I'm you know, I'm not involved in the class or whatever. It's just like I'm not the kind of person who feels comfortable, you know, talking about a subject that I haven't fully developed yet in my brain. And I think having to write about a subject before you've been taught the subject is completely retarded also. And having to speak about the topic before you've learned it is just really stupid, because then you'll start saying things you don't know what the fuck you're saying. At least I don't, so I mean, whatever. So yeah, that made me really relaxed also. And yeah, so basically people aren't as judgmental as you think. No one's like scrutinizing you like constantly, so you can just relax. You know, you might not be perfect or what you think is perfect, but that really doesn't matter. No one's perfect, you know. So, you know, there's probably going to be other people in the class that feel uncomfortable and are shy. Like in my graduate program, I've noticed that most of us are really like, you know, not into like just socializing, you know, basically. So like when you're in middle school and high school, like the name of the game is just like being social, you know. But when you're like upper level in college, it's not like, you know, it's not like a popularity contest or anything. So yeah. And I think it's better if professors like lay off forcing their students to talk in the classroom, because that really puts me on edge. So accommodate for introverts and people with social phobias and our social anxiety. That would be great. And also like the speaker today, she was actually talking about mental disorders, and it's a substance abuse prevention class. So I thought she was going to talk about like abusing Xanax and stuff, but she didn't really. She just talked about the mental disorders, and like she was saying like she listed off a few, and she was like, look at these, like I'm sure like everyone in the class has one of these. And I was like, really? But you know what, mental disorders are really common, so you know, you're not the only one. So that just immediately took stigma away for her to be like, everyone in the class has one of these. I mean, just like admit it, or not, you know, tell the whole classroom, because, or you can if you want to, because we have like a whatever happens in this class stays in this class. So if people want to be open about like what drugs they've used or whatever, you can be open about it. And one thing else I wanted to point out is that she was like, like, I have OCD. I have to have like everything color coded, and I was like skeptical. I was like, is she really like clinically OCD? And no, she said that like some people have OCD to the point where they can't function. And so she admitted that her OCD wasn't as severe. So I actually, you know, some people get offended if people say, oh, I'm so OCD, and oh, I'm so bipolar, and I'm so depressed. That actually kind of, people like taking that stuff like everyone has it. Sort of, I had the epiphany that kind of takes away the stigma of it. It's like, in a way, it's like, look, you know, my best friend could have a mental disorder. You know, it might not be severe enough to make them hospitalized or whatever, but they might be like kind of OCD. They might be kind of bipolar. Sure, it's not severe enough to be like diagnosed. You know, they might get sad a lot. Sure, they don't have clinical depression, but to like accept that everyone has problems is going to accept people who have like the more extreme cases. So, you know, don't get offended if people, you know, use, you know, these things lightly, because it doesn't mean that they're not going to take you seriously. Because if you do have like a highly manifested problem, you should definitely do something about it, you know. I think maybe people won't take you seriously if you don't have the diagnosis. So if you do have clinical depression, don't just wait around for people to feel sorry for you. You know, actually get help, you know. And if you have any disorder, actually get a specific diagnosis, and then people are going to be less likely to be like, psh, you don't really have that, you know. So yeah, I don't know, those are just some things that popped into my head today. This video is way too long, but I hope it was kind of helpful in some way. So I have links in the description to my social networks if you guys want to get in contact with me, and if you want to be friends or get to know me or get close to me or whatever, then follow my blog and comment on that, go on my forum and talk on there. You know, because I don't have time to like personally email back and forth with, you know, thousands of people on a daily basis. So, and yeah, so get to know me on my blog, and if you talk to me a lot on my blog and in the comments, then we'll get to know each other better. So that's what I recommend. So yeah, if you're not subscribed and you just stumbled upon this video, which people seem to just stumble upon my videos a lot, which is really cool, and I hope they're helpful. I'm gonna have to play with my kitten because she keeps attacking me, and she scratched me, and she made me bleed. So now I have a wound. Okay, so anyway, I hope you guys have a really good day, and thanks for watching my video, and I hope if you didn't like this video, then maybe you'll like my other videos. I don't know. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a really good day. Bye!